Hello, welcome to Bloodhouse, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkle.
And I'm your suspiciously infested co-host, Drusilla Adeline. Welcome back, Josh.
Hello.
Hello. And we are joined this week by a very special guest. One of the preeminent music video directors, photographers, documentarians, and the face behind With an X Publishing and the director of the incredible documentary Don't Fall in Love with Yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Jon Nix with us today.
Welcome,
Hey,
John.
thanks for having
How's
me.
it going?
It's
Yeah, of
going
course.
great.
I had the pleasure of watching your documentary yesterday. It's great.
Oh, thank you so much.
I don't know anything about that scene either. So as somebody who knows nothing of the hardcore scene, it's very relatable and personable and enjoyable. And I really liked learning about Justin, and I just thought it was fabulous. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's great hearing that kind of stuff because when I was making it, I'm not worried about things being like huge or making a bunch of money or having like some sort of mainstream crossover. But I was worried that like, is this just for this small audience of people like me who are really into
Right.
it? But I've had a lot of people that know nothing about him be like, no, it's like compelling and he's an interesting character and like I had fun watching it. So like the best case scenario.
That's
Justin
how I
is an
felt for sure.
incredible individual, and he's such a fascinating documentary subject for like a myriad of reasons. For listeners that don't know, this is Justin Pearson from The Locust and like
A million
25 other
bands.
bands.
Yeah.
And his life is compelling. He's like a beautiful and interesting and very chaotic and funny individual. And everything from like the Jerry Springer appearance to like his childhood upbringing to just like his fucking like ethos as an artist and as like a man committed to making annoying weird shit being his life. He's incredible, and the doc is great.
Yeah, the doc is really cool. How did it come to be? Did you just pitch it to him, or?
Yeah. I'd been friends with him for like a decade because I just reached out when I was like 19 and was like, I love your music. It means a lot to me. And he was really kind about it and was just like, well, we should just hang out the next time I'm playing near you. You should just come into the show beforehand. We'll just like chill, get a coffee, whatever. And then so we would just hang out anytime one of his bands would be anywhere near where I live. And then after like a decade, I was finally like, can I just make a movie on you? Are you cool with that? and he agreed immediately. So we were just like off to the races, like from the start. Like he was like, well, what do you need from me? And I was just like, any B-roll you have. Like from the archives.
Huge.
And so he just like packed up a big box of like all of the 31G like VHS and mini DV tapes and just sent it over. So like the first year of this was just collating all that B-roll footage from like 100 tapes. So
God, that's incredible.
Insane archival material that you pulled from him is one of the best selling points of the movie. But for me, the whole thing that makes it as incredible as it is the chemistry between you and him that you can feel off of the camera. You clearly have known him forever because all of the talking head interviews that you do with him are so personal, so fun, so light, and so like it feels like you've been a friend. Like it feels like the audience members have been friends with Justin for years. He's so like open and available, and that's entirely down to you being on the other side of the camera.
that's cool. That's great to hear. I was really worried about that because I just kind of like wrote down every possible question I could think of to ask. In that initial interview we did with him was just like I don't remember exactly how long we were actually rolling for, but it was like 6 to 8 hours. Like it was a full day of just talking the whole day. And I was expecting him to tap out after like 2 hours like a normal person. And he just kept being like, no, keep asking me more, keep asking me more. So we got everything done in like one day when I had already like had the space for two. And it basically covered everything in that first one and just did B-roll stuff the second day.
How did you just finance this yourself and just get on a plane and do it in that one interview? Or, I mean, how did the process work?
Yeah. I mean, the way that we work is we're kind of like a socialist operation where like every project's money just like goes back into the next project. So
That's
we
rad.
just keep like trying to bet forward on everything. So yeah, we had enough money to at least get it mostly done initially. So that first big interview with him, we just flew him out during like a blizzard. And so
God.
we were just like stuck in our studio. So yeah, those were like the two big starting things, was like the big main interview with him and all the B-roll, and that helped me find the skeleton, and then we filled it in with all the supplemental interviews with everyone else after the fact. But I mean, a lot of it's just like hoofing it. Like we did Eric Paul's interview on like a Tuesday night, and we drove to Pittsburgh like right after we got off work, and did it before he played a show, and then drove home, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just a lot about like seizing on an opportunity as opposed to just trying to like fly to all these people, because they're all pretty spread out at this point.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's a killer doc. Congratulations. Where can people see it? There's a release of it.
Yeah, it's available on streaming now on VHX and Vimeo, but the easiest way to get to it is by just going to turnstylefilms.com, spelled with a Y. We just have all the links to everything there. It's also available on Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome and Enjoy the Ride Records. But those are getting pretty low. I think we're down to about 300. So
it's a really lavish release, and it has a super gorgeous slipcase by a friend of the show, Steak Mountain, Chris Norris. That is fucking incredible.
Incredible. It's really worth buying.
It's gonna fly super fast. It already is.
Yeah. That was such a relief when it went up. I was like, please don't let me be one of those. Don't let me be one of those releases that has like 900 copies available like 3 years after the fact,
sitting in a warehouse somewhere. Yeah. Oh no, trust me. Especially like having done artwork for Vinegar Syndrome and have an OCN and stuff like that, and seeing the like clientele that like is so ravenous for anything they put out at any point. The moment that you give someone a limited slipcase, and the moment that you give them anything hardcore or punk related, they're going to jump all the fuck over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely in good company, because they just put out like Meet Me in the Bathroom. They put out the Dead Guy documentary. Yeah. They've been doing a lot of great music docs, so it's cool to see them all there.
Am too scared to watch Meet Me in the Bathroom, because that is my era and my scene. I was in my early 20s in New York in the early 2000s, and I was doing Blow with the Strokes and living in Bushwick and like all of that. And I'm just not ready to see that as a documentary. It's like scary for me.
You'll show up there somewhere in the B-roll.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
There used to be this website called lastnightsparty.com, and they would take photos at Misshapes, which is like the big New York rock and roll party, and Cobra Snake, which is the big LA one. And I turned up on there blackout drunk because there's a photo of me giving somebody next to me a hand job. But I'm like not even looking. I'm like covered in sweat and looking away from them, and my hand is down their pants. Like, giving them a hand job. And it was on the front page of lastnightsparty.com, and it was like such a miserable experience because it actually meant something then.
Josh, I think you have a new headshot. The day that you finally write your autobiography, there's a great cover.
Yeah, true.
That's kind of how I'm a little worried about that with like the B-roll we have in our doc, just because all those shows are so insane, and you can't track down every single person that's in like these public settings. And so I'm just like, oh man, hopefully that like yacked out naked dude over there is okay with being here. Like,
yeah.
Hoping you're all cool with being covered in this much puke. Sorry, you were there. Yeah, I also was so like gobsmacked at how much vomit is in this movie. But you know what? Like, as someone who was a touring musician, I fucking get it.
I was really excited about that, because I love when like bodily functions show up in movies. I think it makes it more realistic and lived in. Like you
listen, so did Ingmar Bergman. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like why is Tom Cruise not having to eat or take a shit in any of those movies? But yeah, and then I was also like, okay, cool, full frontal male nudity. I also get the other thing that I wish was in movies more. So
totally. I mean, that vomit scene from Triangle of Sadness will live in my head rent free for the rest of my life. Like, honestly,
the only thing that comes close to it is your movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was showing it around after I did the initial cut, I was just getting some notes from people, and a couple people were like, "Does it need so much puke?" And I'm like, I really think it does, especially now that like Gabe's like no longer with us. I feel like he really got like a kick out of it. I know Justin was a little worried that like he would be like, I don't know if he wants to be portrayed by that, because he has like kids and shit. But yeah, he was like completely down. He's just like, hey man, that's what happened. That's what it was like. So
that's the way it was.
Yeah. So I'm happy that he's in there as much as he is.
Yeah. So, John, have you been watching anything cool lately? You care to
Uh,
share?
yeah. I have two things I could talk about real quick. I've been trying to catch up on Gaspar Noé because I haven't really seen any of his new era stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I just watched Lux Eterna, and it was real
Oh,
fun.
hell yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
I really like I really like stupid larks, like where it's just like let's just have fun with it, and let's
Yeah.
do like like silly fun ideas, and let's just try stuff out. Just because there's not that much of that anymore. Like no one gets to be playful because everything's on such a tight budget, and it's so focused on making a return on investment and stuff. So it was cool to see. I also love anything that's funded by like a crazed like fashion designer. I think that that's great. Where they're just like, oh yeah, we'll pay for the whole movie. You just got to put all our jackets in it. Because that's how the Safdies got their start too. That's how like Pleasure of Being Robbed got funded. Was they met some dude at like a Staten Island party and was just like, you just need to put my coats in your movie and I'll pay for it. So yeah, it was that was great. And then the other thing that I've watched like 3 times this past week because I'm so fascinated by it, and I think it goes good with the movie we're covering today, is The Mask by Conor O'Malley. He just dropped a short film. Conor O'Malley's this like crazy comedian, performance artist guy.
He's super funny.
I don't know anything about him.
You've seen him.
He's on I Think You Should Leave. He's on Detroiters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, then I've definitely seen him.
If you know the I Think You Should Leave sketch of the guy who's entirely too horny at the hunk if you're horny bumper sticker, that's Conor O'Malley.
Yes, okay, got it.
So,
He's just so horny, he gets a tummy ache.
But yeah, so he started this new site called Endorphin Port that he's going to be starting to release like weird film projects on, and the first one's called The Mask, and it's about this improv comedian that goes out to LA to get on the cast of Whose Line Is It Anyway, and he's like creepily obsessed with Colin Mockery in like a King of Comedy way.
That's fun.
Yeah, but it's like what if Taxi Driver happened on TikTok, and I just think it's very of the moment. It's hilarious.
I love that.
It's so uncomfortable and absurd. And I think that he's seeming to turn into something like very, very special. I feel like no one else is doing exactly what he's doing.
He's outrageously funny and talented.
Yeah, and he's using AI in really interesting ways. Like there's like where they have like, you know, he's like faking news anchors, making news stories about him, like in these shorts, and it sounds very convincing. It's like stuff like that he's like experimenting with, where it's AI being used in a creative sense as opposed to a like how can we fucking not pay anyone sense.
Yeah. Totally.
So I'm always interested when people can actually like make that work, and it's not just in service of being cheap, or you're like a talentless hack with nothing to say.
Yeah. God, I saw somebody on social media this week use the term creativity privilege in relationship to AI.
Oh,
and they were saying like
I saw that.
AI is ethical because it makes up the difference for people who don't have creativity privilege. And I was like, shoot me into the sun and roast me up. I don't want to be on this globe anymore.
Not creativity privilege. Good
Jesus.
Lord. Did you know that you were privileged, Josh? The 3 of us right now on mic are not acknowledging our privilege.
I could use some more privilege. That sounds really cool. I'm interested in that.
It's well worth. It's like $5 to buy it, and it's well worth it. He also has like a chat bot of himself on there, like this shitty PlayStation 1 3D rendering of his face that you can have weird conversations with. He's just doing really crazy shit. So
that's really interesting. I like when people use weird forms like that. When I lived in Auckland, New Zealand for a year, at their Fringe Festival, they had, I guess you'd call it a play, but it's not really. But you can hire call centers in India, and it's not that expensive. People do it all the time. And so there was this play where you're just talking to this person at a call center in India. And it's like they're just asking you weird personal questions, and it's just you and them, and it's just very weird and cool. And it sounds like something like that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Drew? Have you seen anything cool?
I watched such an insane 60s, actually 70s movie yesterday. Speaking of shit from Vinegar Syndrome, they put out something recently that I was like, I'd never heard of. It looked crazy, and I was like, fine, I'll slap down $30 for this. Why not? Fuck it. It's this insane early 70s movie called Arnold.
Oh, yes, I've seen this.
Starring Stella Stevens and Roddy McDowall.
Yeah.
About a woman who is required to marry the corpse of her lover. And it plays out like a Hammer movie in terms of like it's gorgeous Technicolor, super gothic mansions, like rolling fog everywhere, boobs out the fucking ass, just cleavage left and right. But it's also like a weirdly goofy, like Clue Murder by Death style, like who done it almost, where the murderer is dead. um, it's like everyone comes around for the will reading of this dead guy who just got married. And like Stella Stevens is constantly in the most insane lingerie, wearing barely anything, and is like having to just like sit next to her corpse husband in his weird like cassette deck coffin.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. The cast is beyond stacked. Elsa Lanchester from Bride of Frankenstein is in Farley Granger from Rope, and Strangers on a Train. Unfortunately, you do get Jamie Farr, who whenever he shows up in anything, I get very suspicious. Because A, his performance in MASH is gross, and he is just constantly in brown and blackface in like everything in the 70s and 80s. He played like the Sheik character in the Cannonball Run movies, and he does the exact same thing in this. He plays an Indian manservant in a turban with a hook and brown face who says nothing and just stands there the whole movie and then gets his head chopped off by a guillotine. And you're like, okay. This movie does have some of the most insane kills, and someone gets murdered by a suit. Someone dies from cold cream. Like, it is fucking ridiculous. It is a like Technicolor monstrosity of the highest order. If you like Murder by Death, Arsenic and Old Lace, the like William Castle version of Old Dark House, it is like right up that alley. It has that gorgeous 60s Technicolor, like, let's make everything fucking gorgeous for no reason look to it. And it was produced by Bing Crosby for who the fuck knows why. It's great. It hasn't been available since VHS, and Vinegar Syndrome just restored it and put it on a Blu-ray. So
yeah, I might be thinking of something else because I don't think I've seen that. That's all sounding really crazy to me and unfamiliar. So I might have been thinking of something else. It sounds good though.
It's very good, and it's very, very, very goofy. We had a little lovely evening over here, my partner and I, and just like we've been like going through a very stressful week. For the past few weeks, getting so much work done and all this stuff, and we finally have everything done. We had nothing to do, and we'd been like looking forward to having a day off where we could just do nothing and watch Arnold, and it was great.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, again, speaking of Vinegar Syndrome, I bought a ton of shit at their Labor Day sale recently.
We are not sponsored by Vinegar Syndrome, but we would love to
we
be.
Should be. Yeah. We would love to be your official podcast, Vinegar. But listen, this actually isn't a Vinegar Syndrome release. It's actually their sister label, Altered Innocence.
Oh, we love Altered Innocence as well.
Love, love, love. And I finally closed the gap on my kinky film education and bought and watched Colegas with art by our own Drusilla Adeline.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved it, of course. It's, you know, if you haven't heard me talk about kinky films, which would be surprising, given that I talk about them so much, they are Spanish juvenile delinquent films from the late 70s, early 80s. This one is from 1982. It has the same cast as the other ones. And it's about a boy and his best friend in Madrid, and the boy gets his girlfriend pregnant. The girl is his friend's sister as well, so they're all connected, and they're trying to raise the money to get her an abortion. But it plays like kind of like a teen comedy with a lot of crime elements. They start doing crimes and running with gangs to get this money, and it ends in tragedy, as these movies always do. But I loved it.
It's great.
It is really great. I rank it right below Navajeros, which I think is the best of these, but above the El Pico movies. So that's my ranking of it.
It's very good. I always sell it to people as Fast Times at Ridgemont High if it was made by Pier Paolo Pasolini.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, well, I'm
exactly
sold.
Right. Yeah, it's so good.
If you haven't stepped into the like, post-Franco queer Spanish cinema much yet, outside of like Pedro Almodovar, Eloy de la Iglesia is a great starting point, and Pals, Colegas is like maybe one of the best entry points because it's a standalone movie. unlike the kinky trilogy that Severin put out, you don't have to like wade through 3 movies if you're just trying to see if this is something you're gonna love or not. Highly recommend. Unfortunately, the nip slip case is sold out,
which Drew designed.
But all the other art in the release is by me, so it's got that going for it.
I'll also pitch Navijeros, which is also standalone and is on Shudder.
Yeah,
great movie. I also have been watching the most fucked up thing on Hulu, which I'll just talk about very quickly. It's called Frogging with a PH. Hide Her in My House. And it's like a Dateline kind of show, like crime docuseries about people who have had experiences where someone was hiding in the walls of their house for one reason or another.
Okay.
And it's fucking me up so bad.
That, I really, really, really need to watch that. Because one of my top tier fears, that is so fucking weird. But there's a really good movie that not enough people talk about that is super underrated from a few years ago that's exactly about this, called I See You.
Ooh.
Directed by Adam Randall and with Helena Hunt for some reason.
Wow.
And it
Starved girls just want to have fun.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's really, really, really interesting, and it does this great thing. It kind of does the, like, Run Lola Run thing a little bit, where it takes one story and tells it to you 3 ways. Of, like, there's, like, a small-town cop, his wife is Helen Hunt, they have a disaffected teenage son, and around the town, all of these people, all these, like, young boys are, like, disappearing. And so it's like, okay, there's a serial killer on the loose, and the cop dad has to go figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, Helen Hunt is stuck at home, and it seems like there's like ghost activity happening. And as soon as you get to like basically the end of a narrative, it stops, resets from a different character's perspective, and then gives you all the time that you just watched from a different perspective. It is so fucking good and undersung. Great. I was working at a movie theater when it came out. I remember seeing the poster, which is just like this black and white kind of frog monkey sort of mask. And it's very unnerving. And being like, what is this? I've never heard of this. This looks weird and cheap. And then during, I think, 2020 or lockdown or something, like Arrow Video put it out. And I was like, huh, okay. So someone likes this movie.
Yeah, and it was endorsement.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
they have fucking taste. And so it popped up on like Prime Video or something, and I was like, I got nothing to do for 2 hours. Let's give this a shot. And honestly, my jaw was on the floor the whole time. I really, really, really recommend it. It's very satisfying. It's very well constructed. It's really, really, really tense. And I think it's starting to get some acknowledgement. It really died at the box office, which is such a shame. I would love to see more stuff like it. I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
I'm really scared of that too. Sorry, go ahead, John.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I mean, I've been meaning to check it out because the director of that was actually just in the studio that I work at my day job. Because he's thinking about shooting more stuff, like using our stuff, just because Ohio has a film tax credit, so people have been coming here a lot to shoot movies.
I See You was shot in the Midwest, and it's very. I think it was maybe shot in Ohio. It's very Midwest and gorgeous.
Yeah, when you said
sorry, go John. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. When you said that there was like an underrated movie about this, the first thing that popped into my head was Hide Her in the House with Gary Busey.
Ooh, that sounds good too.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable. Yeah, he's just like living in this woman's attic, and it's just Gary Busey just like watching her like through the ceiling boards. Like,
wait, is it Gary Busey as himself?
It's a documentary about Gary Busey's homelessness.
It's one of those performances where it's like he's just being him.
He's just doing his Gary Busey thing.
Oh my god!
Well,
that
I'll pitch
great.
A third little known one about frogging, which is the Kiwi film Housebound, which is a great horror comedy that plays like a haunting, and then they realize that there's someone in the walls. That's probably from like 2016 or something from New Zealand. It's really good.
Oh, I remember seeing this all over Netflix when I was in college. Definitely need to see this.
Those are 3 movies about hiding in the walls.
Speaking of things hiding in the walls.
Jesus Christ. This is a movie that John picked out, and we are here to discuss it today. I woke up bright and early at 6 a.m. to watch this with a cup of coffee, the best kind of waking up with buggies in your cup. We are discussing from 2006, directed by William Friedkin, adapted by the play of the same name, Bug.
When your joke goes off, come to the jukebox. I want to introduce you to somebody.
You're very beautiful.
I like hearing you talk. If you want, you can stay here tonight.
That'd be nice. They live in your blood.
What is that?
Hey, you see it? It's a bug.
Jerry, you can't stay here.
You throwing me out? Place is crawling with these things, and they feed on your brain.
There's no bugs on your skin.
You have to dig it out.
I'll dig it out and show you.
This spring, from the Academy Award-winning director of The Exorcist,
Open the door!
comes the movie the Chicago Tribune calls one of the most disturbing horror movies imaginable.
We have to kill him.
They want you to know they're there. Bug. We'll never really be safe again.
John, you picked this. So when did you first see this? What's your history with this? Go off.
I first saw this whenever it came out. I didn't see it in theaters, but I just bought it as like a used DVD at some rental store. And I just remember it being marketed as like, oh, from the director of The Exorcist, the scariest movie of the year. And just like, it just died at the box office when it came out, because like all the horror fans are just like, oh, it's not scary, and then all the art house fans didn't go to see it because it was being marketed like it was Saw or something. But I just remember being really captivated by it. I'm a big fan of movies that are adapted from plays that don't really
I try to
love
fake
it.
them.
And they don't try to like fake it and expand it. Like my favorite like fake smart guy take on it is like whenever you see reviews for movies that people know have been adapted from plays, and they're like, I really wish you would have expanded it and like added some extra locations, and like they don't say that same shit for Bodies, Bodies, Bodies or anything else. It's only ever on those kind of movies.
Totally.
But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Tracy Letts. Like I love Killer Joe too. And I love both of my films are very political in nature, and I've always been fascinated by outsider fucked up conspiracy groups, and like how do people lose connection with reality, and like what drives that. And so I think this is like a perfect encapsulation. I don't like doing the thing where like, oh, it's more relevant now than it was then, but it definitely feels that way in the world we're living in now, where it's like, oh, this is like every other person on the street at this point. But yeah, I mean, it's not top tier Friedkin, but I do think it's like very firmly near the top of like his second tier of work. And it's definitely something I go back to on a fairly regular basis to rewatch.
I liked it a lot more this time. I saw it, I want to say like Netflix DVD early on, and maybe a year after it came out. But I had seen the play. So I lived in New York many years. I was a playwright before I came to Hollywood to write for TV. So I saw the production at Barrow Street Theater that had Michael Shannon. It had Amy Landecker as RC, who's a great actor. Reed Birney as the doctor. It was like a fabulous production. So I saw the play and then saw this movie. I loved the play, and I remember feeling like, oh, I don't like this movie as much as I like the play. But now with a lot more distance, it's been 20 years or something, I've forgotten the play. And so I kind of got to watch this movie, on its own, with its own worth. And I like it a lot more than I did in my memory. What about you, Drew?
I had never seen Bug. So to be fair, I also confused it in my head with another Infest horror film from that same era, also put out by Lionsgate with a very similar poster called The Bay.
Oh, I've never seen The Bay, but I've heard it's good.
Which was directed by Barry Levinson, the guy whose sperm went on to make Euphoria. Yeah, so I always like confuse the two, and I don't like telling me it's an infestation movie is not a selling point. Typically, so I was like, all right, whatever. And so I watched it for the first time for this, and goddamn, was this movie so wildly mismarketed? It's fucking insane. I was like, okay, horror movie, infestation. Like, all the posters are like Lionsgate post, like Saw. Like, that's how, like, every pull quote is like, the scariest thing you're gonna see this year from the director of The Exorcist. It's the bug. And you're like, oh my god, okay. And it's a very grounded, humane Tracy Let's Play.
But it is scary. I mean, I know that William Friedkin really objected to the classification of this as a horror. I read a quote on Wiki about it, about him saying this isn't a horror movie. It's unclassifiable.
He's also an asshole, which I'll get into in a minute. But,
yeah. But I think, it is a hard movie to market because I guess it's a drama, technically, if it's not a horror, but you can't put this on a shelf next to Ordinary People and What Dreams May Come. You know what I mean? Like, that audience is going to be a lot more pissed off than the horror audience was. And it is I mean, this movie frightens me. I find it really disturbing. It really makes my skin crawl.
The tension in this movie is like one of the single best things going for it. That and Michael fucking Shannon.
I mean, but Ashley Judd is no slouch either. She's incredible.
No. Honestly, I don't think I'd ever seen Ashley Judd in a movie before this.
Well, she was in all those like 90s thrillers.
Yeah, she was in all those like
Double
Michael
Jeopardy.
Crichton kind of like
Exactly. Yeah.
Like there's a case with the legal thing with the bar's gonna throw you out. You have to go run down the street, Tom Cruise, because Samuel L. Jackson and Morgan Freeman were tried for a rape thing of a white woman, and you're
spider.
like, whoa.
Yeah.
All those kinds of movies. And you're like, got it, okay.
Yeah. This movie actually also, speaking of horror, has the same production designer as Hostel. So aesthetically, it does
I can tell that.
It does kind of fit in that space a little bit, whether or not you think it's a horror movie or not. It does have those elements.
It is.
And if I'm a marketer, I don't know what to do with this. I guess art house, but how do you market to an art house? I mean, A24 has been doing it for a long time.
If A24 put this movie out today, it would be a huge hit.
A huge hit. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if either of you watched the trailers for this, but it's just like new metal music with them being like, they'll eat you from the inside. Like, and it's just like, oh God, why?
I will say the soundtrack in this movie, like, they use some fucking, like, good shit in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was very pleasantly surprised, but then I was like, oh yeah, Friedkin is the same dude who went to all the gay bars in 1970s New York and was like, what the fuck is this Donna Summer shit? Put on Circle Jerks.
Yeah.
So fair. He's also the person who scored 1980s Los Angeles to Wang Chung.
Yeah.
So I get it.
There is a theme song by, I think, System of a Down, but there's also like lots of old country songs because this is set in Oklahoma. I guess that's a good time for a synopsis. This movie focuses on Agnes, played by Ashley Judd, who's a very disturbed alcoholic of a woman who lives alone in a rundown hotel room. She's a waitress at a lesbian bar, and her friend is this lesbian woman named RC, who introduces her to Peter, played by Michael Shannon, who seems at first like a nervous, shy person, but the closer they get, the more we find out he's incredibly disturbed, believes that there are bugs living inside his body. She also has an abusive ex that's on the prowl, kind of, and
played by your mother's favorite Christmas singer, Harry Connick Jr.
Harry Connick Jr., who's very frightening and very handsome.
He's very good in this.
Very good. The whole cast is just really bringing it here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything else that I'm missing? That's kind of it. It gets worse and worse and worse inside this hotel room as they get more paranoid.
Ashley Judd has a kind of tragic backstory to a degree, and her alcoholism and substance abuse kind of spirals into Michael Shannon's substance abuse and mental illness until they become one. Yeah. It's a big folie à deux story, and it's very stressful and very sad.
This was a play that premiered in 1996 by the playwright Tracy Letts, who now we think, I mean, he wrote August Osage County, which is like your mom's favorite play if she likes plays, and then he's like an actor too, you know?
He was on that one episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah. So he has a different reputation now, but in the 90s, as a playwriting major back then in the early 2000s, there was this kind of like wave of bad boy playwrights. Like Neil Abute is one of them, Adam Rapp is one of them. Tracy Letts is like kind of the best of them. He wrote this play, he wrote Killer Joe, which was also adapted into a great film. He's the most tolerable. And in the 2000s, some of them got a lot worse. There was one named Thomas Bradshaw, one named Tommy Smith. They were just like these really vile straight male playwrights who are just like seem to hate the audience and are trying to punish them. Tracy Letts is probably the softest of those guys, but that's kind of the milieu that he was working in.
Yeah,
but he's also very like Midwestern and Southern focused in a way that's like really grounded and not like talking down to those communities. It feels like rich and of that time and not actually being like some coked up playwright in New York City being like, what do people in Indiana talk like?
Right.
I don't know. They're just doing coke all day long.
Tracy Letts and Michael Shannon both come from Steppenwolf Theater in Chicago. So, which is, we've talked about Steppenwolf before in the show. It's like the preeminent Midwestern theater. It has an ensemble cast that are lifetime members, and the shows are built around the cast and blah, blah, blah. It's like sort of a very cool socialist-ish theater in Chicago.
Yeah, to go back to the portrayal of like just it being lived in and portraying like poverty in a realistic way. I have a real bullshit detector for that. Like it always just makes me like seethe when it's a movie that's like clearly in like a McMansion where they're just like, Mom, you don't have enough money to do the thing. And it's just like, oh, you couldn't have found a better location that would have been cheaper anyway to shoot this scene in?
Well, I also like, there was that Ron Howard movie on Netflix a few years ago.
Hillbilly Elegy.
There's that. And then Mila Kunis did one recently where she's like strung out, like recovering drug addict and stuff like that. And every single one of those movies is like, oh, this is a big actress from LA who wants to win an award for declamming and putting on prosthetics and like spiraling out, and none of this feels real, and she's going to put on a Southern accent to feel more blue collar, and she's going to like walk into a VFW hall for one scene, and they're going to talk about how she lives in like a trash heap, and it's going to be like, you know, a ranch home that this person could never afford. I have like relatives that look, act, and live like Ashley Judd at the beginning of this movie.
Me too. I hear you both.
Believable.
Again, I'm from Eastern Kentucky, literally from the holler, and I'm trying to write about it in a pilot right now. And to play devil's advocate a little bit, I think there's a real pushback against seeing poverty or working class people at all. So a lot of the time, and I'm not saying this is either of you, but a lot of the time when people claim poverty porn, it feels like they just don't want to see poor people. And do you know what I mean? So it's hard to do. I agree that it's hard to do it well, but because we're so hesitant to talk about class in this country, and we're so hesitant to show poverty or working class people, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the protests, especially the protests that I get from like executives and LA people, it's like, just admit that you don't want to see a show about poor people.
Yeah, I think a lot of it.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say like, I think part of it is like the miserableism of it. Like that's the problem, is they only know it as like a miserable thing, where like if you watch films like Moonlight or like Gummo, like they have like real portrayals of what it's like to be poor, but like there's still joy in those films. There's still like moments where people are being like very connective and really vulnerable, and like
not just all about we're poor, and that's the
right.
problem, and that's not the pursuit of happiness with Will Smith, where it's like, one day I'll overcome my poverty, I swear to God I will. Yeah, it's not just about that. Ashley Judd's character is like, she's a working class waitress. She is not doing well financially. She's not doing well mentally. That's not the point. Her not doing well mentally is kind of the point of the story. But like, it's not about her being poor and broke. That's not the story. That's an element of the story. That's like, you know, a brush on the canvas, but it's not the whole fucking thing. It's the same way that people talk about like queer representation and stuff like that. And it's like, oh my God, you've got the story about a trans person. Let's see, they're coming out. You have to have a male actor play them beforehand. Let's do this whole thing. And it's like, or they can like, I don't know, also have the same plot as a character in a horror movie, or they can also just be fucking like sweet, like grabbed by Tom Cruise and have to like go on a Mission Impossible adventure or whatever. Like we
This
don't
podcast-
need that much like obnoxious realism.
Yeah, I
This
thought that.
podcast is very proudly bury your gays, by the way.
Yeah, kill them, just kill them all.
No, I thought that was kind of the coolest part of the new Evil Dead is that they had a trans character in it, and it's like they never called attention to it. It's just like yeah, that's who they are. There you go. The story's not about that. It's about demons in an apartment building.
And it's so
Exactly.
relatable that it's just a trans dude who just wants to be a DJ so much that he ruins the world.
I didn't even know
And
that
kills
was
his
a
family.
trans dude.
Yeah.
Until much later.
That movie's awesome.
I love that movie. We loved it. I think, I actually believe in bury your gays. I can't watch a twink love story one more time or a coming out story. And I think real equality is letting queer and trans people get murdered by Jason Voorhees too.
And letting trans people be Pinhead and Hellraiser
Yeah,
and shit
exactly.
like that. Yeah,
that's
like,
equality.
let some tender queers get pulled apart by the fucking box in Hellraiser.
Exactly.
That's the future that queers want to see.
Yeah, this is all one location. Basically, it's this little dive-y hotel room designed by the production designer of Hostel, so you know what you're getting. At a certain point, it's full of fly traps or fly paper, which is like a trigger for me. I'm so disturbed by fly paper. I hate it so much. And the actors are trying to maneuver around it, but it keeps getting stuck to their foreheads and in their hair and stuff. And if you've ever dealt with fly paper, you can get it unstick, but that goop is still on your skin. It takes a good hard washing to get that off. It's really gross. And I remember seeing the play, and the first act ends with that first like helicopter rattling the set. And then you go to intermission and you come back and the whole set is covered in tinfoil. And it was like quite an experience.
Yeah, it was performed here, but my roommate went to go see it at the time, and I just like didn't know what it was, and so I was like, yeah, you just go see a play or whatever. And they came back and were like, it's the most fucked up thing ever. Oh my god! But I like missed my shot to see it. It was at this place called Bang and Clatter that was like a black box theater that did really cool productions.
Yeah,
and then got shut down for like tax evasion or something.
Yeah,
theater. It's dying. Yeah, so Michael Shannon is this guy named Peter. He's like sort of sweet and nervous seeming at first.
And like asexual seeming at first too.
Seeming asexual. By the way, let's talk about the sex. They do have sex pretty quickly. He says he hasn't had sex in a long time and he's not much of a woman's man. I don't love this sex scene. As much as I love sex scenes generally, this one I felt like it's one of my only quibbles with the movie.
It's very forgettable too.
It's a little corny, I thought. Like, it's very Skinamax. They have like moisture droplets on their hot skin. You know, it feels like this doesn't feel.
I'm just gonna
appropriate
say
to the
it.
movie.
William Friedkin doesn't know how to shoot hetero sex scenes. I'm just.
I think that like the only thing that really works for me about the sex scene is just like the spit strings between their lips when they pull away.
That I
Yeah.
did
It's just like it's
Yeah.
like it's uncomfortable, and I have friends that like hate spit. So I'm just anytime I see that kind of stuff in movies, I'm just like, yeah.
I get excited when I see a spit string or anything. It's what made me see Greener Grass. It's what made me see Greener Grass. The only promotional photo was the two lips kissing with a whole like inch long streak of spit, and I was like, I don't know what that is. I want to see it. That looks great.
I imagined that their sex would be somehow like more pitiful in some way. Even though later she says it's good, it just feels like I would like to see a naturalistic kind of.
It's
awkward...
filmed very romantic in a way that
So
kinda rings
anyways,
false.
I don't think it works, but I think the intent is like it's the seduction where she sort of loses herself to him, and so you're supposed to be along the ride. I don't think that's totally successful, but.
Yeah, I don't think that sex scene is very successful for me. After they finish having sex, he gets bitten by a bug, or so he says in bed. We never see that bug or any bug. And then he starts talking about government conspiracies and yada, yada, yada. And it isn't long before she believes in these bugs too. And then the bugs are transmitters that the government uses to spy on us and so on and so forth. And until their hotel room is covered in aluminum foil and they're both covered in wounds.
There's a lot of name drops in some of those points where he's talking about
Ted Kaczynski.
Jim Jones.
Bilderberg Group.
He like goes on these like rapid fire monologues that are so impressive. And this is one of Michael Shannon's best performances ever, where he just like starts at one point and like follows that. And honestly, like kudos to Ashley Judd. She gives a great performance of just sitting there like frantically, like wide-eyed, tweaking out, nodding along. It is, I know way too many people that are like this, that are like, yeah. And that's why Jim Jones was getting close to exposing him. That's why they had to kill his whole flock.
Yeah.
It's the exact same kind of people that are like, well, Russell Brand was gonna, give the like truth bombs on Ukraine, and that's why they're canceling him with these Trump.
If you've ever known a meth head, you know who these characters are. And Ashley Simpson, Ashley Judd has her own monologue near the end of the movie that is like pretty incredibly performed. I think that she really holds her own.
Incredibly well done.
Yeah.
They play off each other so fucking well.
They're so good.
It's such a mouthful, and I think that especially that tail end of it where they really like have like completely lost themselves. I think that it's really impressive that they do something that's so alienating while simultaneously like really. I feel myself getting like emotionally worked up when I watch those scenes for them outside of anything that they're saying. It's like, and I think that like that dichotomy is really, really impressive to think about them juggling it, where it's like, how do I make this emotive, but also like completely alienate the audience with everything I'm saying?
Yeah. William Friedkin did say this wasn't a horror movie. He said, if it's anything, it's more like a dark comedy love story. And I get the love story. It does have like a weird doomed lovers kind of, I don't know, Natural Born Killers or Sid and Nancy kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't get the comedy. I don't think this is funny.
No.
Again, William Friedkin, asshole.
Yeah. There are two really funny thing. Well, not funny. There's one really funny thing and one really revealing thing that he said in the commentary. Most of the commentary is just him recounting what you're seeing and sort of like elevating it in his very like eloquent way. But the movie opens with the Lionsgate logo, and at the end of it, he just goes, "Where's the lion?" So that's how the commentary starts. But near the end, he's starting to finally kind of be clear about like what it's about, and as opposed to kind of describing it and being like, maybe it's real, maybe it's not, or whatever. And at the end, he says it's about two people trying to re-find their sanity. And I think that like that really explains it. I think that this movie is very much about so many Americans have really complex, tragic lives where things, they're bad happen to them for seemingly no reason to them. And I think this movie is about the way that particularly Americans like rationalize the things that have happened to them, where there must be this sort of like overarching Godhead. It had to be an inside job. It couldn't have been that there was like this tragedy that befell you. And I think that's like, I think that's very scary, because I think that that's so much of like the political thinking in our country now. Like, it's not that the economy is like just structured against you and you're getting fucked over because of a million reasons. It's that like these specific people did it to you for a blood coven to, do this thing.
Yeah. And we have that on the right and the left. They both are just being swept away by conspiracy theories.
Because that's the most like telling and like heartbreaking thing about this movie, is that both of them are so anxious and riddled and like depressed to the majority of the movie. And it's not until that they are in each other's arms at the end, bathed in the light of these like bug zappers and tinfoil and scars and marks all over themselves, ready to do heinous things, that they seem the most comfortable in their own skin. And it's super fucked.
Yeah, it's like the first time either of them smile in the whole movie.
Yeah. John,
very,
I think
very
your
telling
point about our lives as Americans, or probably global citizens, I can't speak for the rest of the world though, is a good one. There are these conspiracy theories on the right and the left that are crazy in their own respective ways. And yet it's easy to fall for in some ways, because we are being surveilled, right? Like, all of these websites take our data. If you're with a friend at lunch or dinner and you talk about a certain brand of sweater, your phone's going to give you ads for that brand of sweater because it's listening to you. So it's not entirely made up. But yes, he is a paranoid schizophrenic.
I think the systems are like very clearly built against us and using us as like cattle, basically. But I do think that it's like incredibly transparent. It's like that CEO that was out there, the same guy that it's like the avocado toast guy went viral again this week because he's like, well, you just need to like punish poor people more and then they'll do what you want them to do. Like all this stuff is just out there on like MSNBC and CNBC and like any economic channel where they're just like, oh, well, we'll just fuck them over. We'll just wait them out. And then they'll just die. Who cares? Like to me, it's very transparent and like you don't need a big conspiracy. It's just greedy people that have capital and power that are able to give each other friend deals and like not really worry about how it actually gets done, which is labor and people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And in some ways it's easier to believe or appealing to believe that there's a conspiracy against you and people want to use you in some way, because that's in some ways more comforting to believe that no one cares about you at all and you're completely on your own. Which is the truth in a way.
Yeah, and I think it lets you off the hook. Not to victim blame, because I mean I don't really think that people have the means to escape their sort of like level of the economic system. We don't have really like great upward mobility, but I do think it is a way to rationalize your own failings of like, my marriage fell apart because I lost my job because Joe Biden did this thing, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's a way for you to just go like, okay, well, I have my Satan that I can blame it on. You know, I have my chief evil that's responsible for all of my suffering.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of really disgusting, upsetting moments in this. One is when Michael Shannon pulls out his filling because he believes it has a transmitter inside of, or a bug egg sac inside of it. Brutal. There's a... Were you going to say something, Drew?
I was going to say the most upsetting sequence for me isn't... I mean, I had to look away very strongly at the teeth pulling because Michael Shannon puts everything into that and makes every bit of pain and determination in that very real. The hardest for me, though, was when RC shows up to, like, have taken Agatha to the... not Agatha, oh my god, Agnes. To the doctor, and is like doing everything she can to get her away from him, and it turns back on her in the worst way, with Michael Shannon like having like defended her from Harry Connick Jr. being this abusive ex, and then he instantly turns into that exact abusive guy that I've seen so many friends get trapped with.
Yeah.
Like, she's an adult. She can make up her own decisions. She can go wherever she wants, and she wants to stay with me. And, like, she stands there, like, not saying anything the entire time until Michael Shannon has an attack of sorts, and Ashley Judd screams her out of the room, and it is so, so deeply upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I still don't know how to take that scene of him having an attack when you look at it through the lens of like an abusive relationship, because it's one of those things where like Ashley Judd feels like she's about to leave, like RC's gotten her, and then he just immediately puts himself in peril or becomes in peril, and then that's what retraps her, is this sort of like trauma bonding they suddenly do in that moment.
Yeah, it's very manipulative. There's also a great sequence near the end where a doctor named Dr. Sweet comes to look for Peter. He may be like some sort of CIA, like they don't know who he is. He might be some sort of government operative. And he has a long scene with just Agnes, and Peter is out of the room. We haven't seen Peter in a while. And when Peter opens the door from the bathroom and enters, my mouth dropped and I gasped, because he's just like completely covered in self-inflicted wounds from trying to dig bugs out of his body. And it's like, oof, it was so horrible. One thing I didn't think about, but it's so obvious, William Friedkin said filming this movie was a nightmare with all the tinfoil on the walls, because of course it reflected everything, including the crew and the sound people. And so it's like, oh yeah, of course it would do that.
Yeah. Dr. Sweet, I think, is a really fascinating character, because I think that this does... There are a lot of movies that are like, oh, it's ambiguous, but it's not really. Like, there's a kind of like one interpretation you can do on it, and the ambiguity is just there as like a plot device. Where I think this movie does have that, it builds in enough subtle things that I think it does feel like you could just read it any way you want to, and that's kind of the fun of watching it, is it is like a magic 8 ball.
Yeah.
because I would totally buy him as a character, except for the fact that like he hits her pipe and then just starts like waxing about like, you know, taking care of him, and I'm just like, this is like an undercover cop thing, but at the same time it could be like her ex Goss's like some tweaker friend he has that's also out of jail that he's just like telling to pretend to be a doctor to get her out of the hotel room.
Yeah. They're speaking of the pipe, we don't see them do meth in the movie, really, I don't think. And then there's that pipe that Dr. Sweet picks up, and it implies that they've been doing meth because there's a meth pipe. I did wonder, like, would I like this more without that? Like, it makes you feel like they're meth heads, which is probably true in the intention. But like, is this a stronger movie without that element? I mean, they've done coke and drank a lot, but like,
it's also kind of implied that they're like freebasing to an extent too, with his little kind of like setup and microscope that he's like digging into stuff. It's implied that they're doing a lot more than what we're seeing on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a little thought I had. Like maybe this would be stronger if that element were taken out, but I don't know.
I mean, it might lend more to the ambiguity potentially, but honestly, I find ambiguity like that a little tiresome. I honestly really enjoy it. I enjoy the drug angle of this because it feels a bit more grounded. And
well, I guess I'm talking myself out of it. Because I think actually, now that I hear you say that, I think you do need her at least to be on these substances and stuff, because he is a paranoid schizophrenic, so he can get there on his own. I think that she needs a little help to get there with him, because she's not a mentally ill person in the same way that he is, right?
She is, but in a different way.
In a different way, yeah. Anyway, anything else to say about this movie before?
I mean, for me, I think one of the most interesting and compelling things about this movie is the way, especially if you're accustomed to William Friedkin's career and his filmmaking styles, everyone has at least seen one of his films, more than likely from the 70s. You've seen The Exorcist, you've probably seen The French Connection. If you're a bigger film fan, like Sorcerer and Cruising and To Live and Die in LA or The Boys in the Band are like up there, and you've got a very specific like, okay, I can kind of envision the kinds of movies he makes. Bug is a like mid 2000s, like I believe it was shot digitally. Like
I think so.
Like it feels nothing like his movies in any way. The only one I've seen post To Live and Die in LA and pre-Bug is Jade, which is his sort of like Basic Instinct riff, which is bad.
Yeah, Jade and Rampage are both bad.
Yeah.
I did feel like I saw his editing style in this.
His editing style is very much there, and his directing of actors is very much there.
Yeah.
He's, again, like him adapting a play is nothing new. The Boys in the Band is a great example of that.
And a great film adaptation, too. I love that movie.
Again, I've said this a lot of times in this episode because I have personal experience with this, but William Friedkin was a fucking asshole. And I will, like, yes, he's dead, and I'm sorry, but also, he was a dick. But he's very good with actors. He got incredible performances out of, like, a myriad of incredible performers his entire career. And I think of him as being a very strongly stylistic, visually filmmaker, which I think he eschews a lot in this movie until we get to the third act. I think the third act gets a little bit closer visually to what, you know, he was doing in stuff like To Live and Die in LA and Cruising and stuff like that. But the, like, frenetic, like, cameras and stuff like that, the stuff that, like, has him being in a similar visual and thematic landscape as someone like Brian De Palma and Martin Scorsese in the 70s and 80s is gone in this. This feels like someone's first movie. This feels like a student filmmaker. This really feels like...
In a good way, you mean?
In a great way. It really feels like he's, like, reset the clock and coming back. Because he was kind of persona non grata for a lot of the 90s.
He was, yeah. He was in director jail.
He was in director jail, and a lot of the movies that he made in the 90s were because his wife was the head of Paramount. And she had to beg to get him Jade and a few other projects. I haven't seen Hunted, which he made right before this. with Benicio del Toro, but it really seems like with his two Tracy Letts films, this and Killer Joe, that he's really actively trying to start over and find a new way of telling stories in the early 2000s, which is very, very interesting. I know he tried that again with that documentary he made a few years ago, The Devil and Father Amorth, but that's pretty widely reviled. So,
Listener, unfortunately, Jon Nix had a power outage and has left the show, but we love him and thank him. And with that, we are moving on to Have They Seen It, the game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen the movie. I have got someone in mind. I've got a twofer, actually. I grew up in the South, partially, and as such, there was country music in my life. Ashley is a Judd of the Judds, and her mom is Naomi Judd. Her half-sister is Winona Judd of the Judds. So do you think that Naomi Judd or Winona Judd of the Judds saw Bug?
God, I hope they did.
What do you think when, like, Naomi Judd thought of Bug?
I have no idea. Honestly, it doesn't seem like almost something any of those people would enjoy. But
No.
it feels like something like, yeah, it was good.
I can't remember who it was when Bram Stoker's someone in my life when Bram Stoker's Dracula came out, or like somebody and someone like a friend's mom or something.
We
saw
talked about
Dracula.
this in the last episode.
We did.
Yes, we did.
They're like, where was Winona in that? They thought it was Winona Judd. It's so
See, I thought
funny.
you were going to ask if Judd Nelson had seen this movie. It's a
Do you
very
think he
different
has?
Judd altogether. I feel like Judd Nelson has not seen the Friedkin film, but I feel like Judd Nelson saw the Tracy Letts play in New York.
I'd buy that.
He
Who you
seems
got for me?
a bit more of a kind of astute individual.
I think so.
So much of this movie is, fanciful imagination brought on mental illness and substance abuse in one way or another. And there's a handful of individuals who have, tricky histories with both substances and bugs. And I'm very specifically thinking of an urban legend story about someone who once snorted a rail of cocaine full of fire ants.
Oh
Do
my
you think
God.
Ozzy Osbourne has seen Bug?
No. I think by 2006, I mean, I don't think he's seen much of anything this century. And if he did, he would completely forget it. I think probably Kelly and Jack saw this. They seemed like they were young people at the time who were cool enough to see this. But Ozzy, no, I don't think he's watching anything that's not like The Price is Right or, just the inside of a doctor's office. Why? What
That's
do you
fair.
think?
I don't think he could be fucked. I think maybe in the instance in which Kelly rented it from Blockbuster and he was like, "Oh, a horror movie with my daughter. Sure, fine, whatever." I think that's the only context in which he would have watched it. I don't think he would have had a good time. I could see him being like, "The scariest movie ever made, Bug."
That is exactly the context under which I watched The Craft with Danny DeVito because I was hanging out with Lucy, his daughter, and a bunch of girlfriends who were having like a tarot card and movie night, and he came home and just sat down and watched The Craft with us and really loved it. So Danny
That's
DeVito
awesome.
has seen The Craft. Okay, we mentioned Neil LaBute. He's not my Have They Seen It because I don't care if he's seen this or not. I don't care.
I
about
don't
him
care
at
if
all.
he
Hate
breathes
his
oxygen or
guts.
not.
Yeah. But he did make that terrible remake of The Wicker Man starring Nicolas Cage,
yeah.
and I would love to know if Nicolas Cage has seen Bug.
I'm going to say fast fucking yes. I think Nicolas Cage saw this movie in theaters. I think he also saw the Tracy Letts play on Broadway, or if he didn't see the Tracy Letts play, that was all the more reason he wanted to see the movie. I think he's a big fan of Friedkin's movies. I think he's a big fan of Tracy Letts. I think he's a big fan of Michael Shannon. I think he's a big fan of Ashley Judd. I think he loved this movie. I think he's a really big supporter of this movie. And I feel like if you had a conversation with him, he'd be like, The Exorcist is great. But if you want a really scary Friedkin, like internalized, existentially scary, Bug. I feel like he digs this movie a lot. But also, I would love to see Nicolas Cage in the Michael Shannon role in this movie.
That would have been great. I think it's probably too old. He's probably too old now. But he would have been great.
Yeah. I think it's fucking incredible. I think he would have done such a good goddamn job.
Yeah. This movie is kind of similar to Take Shelter, which Michael Shannon is the star of too.
I still haven't seen Take Shelter.
It's got a similar vibe. Mentally ill person who's paranoid. And he's the mentally ill person who's paranoid again.
You know what? I don't know if that's going to be a selling point for me. But sure, fine. Okay, so the other person that I was thinking of for this one is another filmmaker who's also gone through a lot of like transformative changes in the way that he films and shoots things, and someone who's also very like a conspiratorial filmmaker who's very much into political conspiracy theories, and someone who did a lot of drugs and makes movies about how he did a lot of drugs. Do you think Oliver Stone saw a bug?
Do you know what? I thought of him during the movie because there was a couple of flashes in the editing that I was like, this kind of reminds me of Natural Born Killers.
Yeah. There's a cut to the onions later in the movie that I was like, very impressed by.
That may have been the moment. Yeah, I think he did. And I think he would dig this a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I feel like it's the kind of movie that, like, depending on the day, if you talk to Oliver Stone, he'd be like, oh my god, Bug, one of the smartest, scariest movies ever. And then you see him 3 weeks later, and you're like, hey, dude, I watched Bug on your recommendation. He's like, that piece of fucking trash that's trying to, like, talk down to fucking real Americans. And you're like, what do you told me to watch it.
Yeah.
I feel like it could also be that, or I feel like he would just love this movie and, like, feel like he was like, oh, I tried to make that, and Tracy Letts wouldn't let me do it. Or I feel like he's, like, trying to do a Tracy Letts thing. He tried to get Tracy Letts to write his Snowden movie or something like that. I feel like, I'm not saying this is true. I'm just speculating that I feel like that's a thing that Oliver Stone has been trying to do. What's the last time he made a movie? Was it the Snowden thing?
Couldn't tell you. I think maybe it was.
One of the last times I talked to my father, which tells you a lot about the relationship I have with my father, or that he lacks of and having with me or whatever, was it was when that movie was coming out and he was on the phone with me. He's like, yeah, we just went to go see that Edward Snowden movie. And I was like, what do you voted for Trump? What? Jesus.
Well, that is it for this episode of Bloodhouse. We thank you, Jon Nix, for joining us. Sorry we lost you. But please, listener, check out his documentary, Don't Fall in Love with Yourself. It's truly excellent.
Go find it on Vimeo or on turnstylefilms.com, or go pick up the Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome's website through ETR as part of the OCN partner labels. It is well worth the time, and the special features and the gorgeous packaging are beyond worth
It's
a couple
super
of
cool.
us.
If you liked this episode, please rate it wherever you listen to podcasts. You can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram. Drusilla, where are you?
You can find my work over at scissorhidedesign.com. If you're in need of a little bit of art or a polish on stuff, hit me up over there. I am also working on a bunch of fun, weird shit right now that is not that kind of art related. I'm doing my best to put my Wacom tablet pen down and go back to my keyboard and actually be writing stuff again, which is exciting. You can also find me on Letterboxd. If you search for Sister Hyde or Drusilla Adeline, you'll find me and all the weird shit I'm watching there, especially as we get into the Halloween season. A lot of weird bangers, a lot of fun stuff. And I'm also on Instagram at Hyde Sister. What about you, Josh? Where do you lurk?
I am at Joshua Conkle on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd.
How's Blue Sky working out?
Blue Sky's, it's peaceful. It's a little boring because not that many people are on it, but there's no, like, demented hot takes, which is nice. So it's fine. A lot of thirstiness, a lot of, like, dick pics and stuff. So, I don't know. I could take that or leave that, truthfully. I will include John's website and socials in the show notes if you're interested in following him, which you absolutely should. Drusilla, what are we watching next week? I'm nervous.
Next week, you shouldn't be. It's going to be a very good time. Next week, we are watching one of my favorite discoveries of the year and a movie that was recommended to us and requested by a listener. The extreme, hard to find, and kind of infamous Greek film, Singapore Sling, which is available right now on the Criterion Channel.
I'm very interested in that one, and I'm nervous, but can't wait to watch.
It's going to be a very good time.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.